Goonies II for the NES is a fantastic adventure game that oftentimes goes unnoticed or overlooked when in reality was a groundbreaking game for its time and deserves recognition. The game was released by Konami in November of '87 and offers a combination of non-linear platforming and point-and-click adventuring. Very unique for an early Nintendo game. Now just why the hell is this game called The Goonies II? When I played this game as a kid, I just assumed it was considered a sequel to the movie, and that all of the events that take place during Konami's adventure comes after the movie. I mean, you play as Mikey, you have to rescue the other Goonies from the Fratellis, and the faces of all the brats from the movie appear on the cover. Makes sense. But in reality, Konami actually developed the Goonies 1 game, which is only released in Japan on the Nintendo Famicom, and sparingly available here in the States on PlayChoice 10 arcade machines. Whatever. The Goonies 2 easily stands tall on its own. Like I mentioned before, you star as Mikey, who must rescue the other 6 Goonies along with a mermaid named Annie, who have all been kidnapped by the apparently recently paroled Fratelli family. Armed with only a yo-yo, Mikey must traverse a gigantic mansion, dark dingy caves, and underwater, just to name a few, all the while tackling scorpions, fire-breathing dragons, and rabid Eskimos. Subweapons such as a slingshot can be collected and used similar to Castlevania's subweapon feature, while a plethora of items can be found within, aiding Mikey in his adventure. Numerous doors line the walls, and once inside, the game then switches to a first-person perspective with a hand you move around to interact with and select commands, similar to Shadowgate. The rooms are maze-like, and chances are you'll become disoriented at one point or another. Some rooms contain items to collect, while others simply advance you to another area within the game. Hidden items and doors can be discovered by knocking on the walls with your fist or hammer, so you'll be knocking along every room in hopes of discovering new paths or items to help you along the way. Allies also lie in wait, such as an old man who often guards a warp zone, and making a cameo appearance, Konami Man. Now just who in the name of Zeus's butthole is this Konami Man anyway? Well, 9-year-old me sure as hell didn't know, and that's because Konami Man's game, YY World, was never released here in America. We'll cover that one at another time. Now you also come across an old woman several times throughout the game who offers obscure and oftentimes worthless clues. Sounds frustrating, doesn't it? Don't worry, because you'll get to feed your sadistic side by offering Grandma a knuckle sandwich. Say what? That's right, Konami's all for elder abuse, requiring you to punch Granny not once, not twice, but 5 times in order to obtain the mandatory candle. How would you know to do this without any clues? I guess Konami figured you'd be so frustrated at that point of the game, you would surely go around beating the shit out of every and anything you could slam your fist against. Either that, or you did what I did as a 9-year-old and used this. You can access a map and use a magic locator device to locate all of the cleverly hidden Goonies. Borrowing a page from Metroid, you'll have to backtrack once obtaining the necessary equipment to advance further at spots, and also like Metroid, a password feature is available so that you can pick up right from where you left off. Goonies 2 was one of the very first games to offer a password feature. At the time, people didn't even know what it was used for. Like all of Konami's early NES games, the graphics are colorful but average. The real highlight is the music, which is classic Konami and has a similar tone to the very first Castlevania. Honestly, I'd say that the Goonies 2 has some of the best tunes on the NES, period. The game does not offer any boss fights, but you do occasionally run into fat-ass Ma Fratelli and her 2 idiot sons, Impy and Knuckles, or whatever the fuck their names are. There's even hidden doors. Just don't expect a truffle shuffle. The Goonies 2 is a fun and clever adventure, and was definitely ahead of its time. I'm glad I was able to experience the game while it was brand new, because other than Zelda or Metroid, I hadn't experienced another adventure quite like it. While there's no doubt that I see this game through nostalgia glasses, I highly recommend it to anyone who loves clue searching and treasure hunting. The music alone is enough reason to play this one, and guaranteed, the tunes will be playing in your head for days. And considering how inexpensive the cartridge is, I'd say picking this one up is a no-brainer. Play the Goonies II today.